Have you ever noticed how danger always seems more attractive than the boredom of routine? Don't kid yourself. Even the nicest guy has felt that urge for the forbidden. Marquis de Sade already knew the desires you hide are the same ones everyone else tries to suppress. Deep down, every man has dreamed of breaking the rules, even if only in his imagination. And let's be honest, what's repressed today becomes the fuel of the best fantasies tomorrow. Look around, brother. Everyone puts on their good boy face, but their minds are wandering far when it comes to what can't be spoken. Forbidden desire isn't a flaw. It's just part of your nature. Sade didn't judge anyone for that. On the contrary, he thought it was pure hypocrisy to pretend a man doesn't feel the urge to challenge limits. Whoever's never felt this urge is just fooling himself. The truth is, society loves to pretend that the right thing is to walk the straight line, but just look at movies, music, and memes. Danger, mystery, and transgression always attract more. Sade knew the more you try to repress it, the more it grows. The male mind, if it can't act, fantasizes. And come on, the most memorable stories always have a hint of boldness, don't they? But hold on, I'm not telling you to just throw it all away. The point is, admitting these desires is just a sign of honesty with yourself. What's dangerous is living in denial and hiding behind a mask that isn't yours. The secret is facing it. You're human. You have desires, and you don't have to apologize for it. Better to admit than collect hidden frustrations. So tell me, are you going to keep lying to yourself, or finally look in the mirror and admit that desire always craves a bit more danger? Admit it, even if it's just here. Nobody's watching. Now that you've taken off your own mask, let's peek at the other side of the stage. You know that pose of innocence, the polite talk, the "you can't, you shouldn't" speech? Marquis de Sade had a field day showing that behind every good girl, there's a mind playing with everything society forbids. No wonder the forbidden always seems more interesting. For her too. Do you notice how women's public conversations never match the stories you hear in private? Desire doesn't make announcements. It whispers, it tests, it dares. Sometimes a sideways glance or a meaningless tease gives away much more than any lecture full of rules. That's where the mystery lives. The secret of the dangerous game is simple. The more she hides it, the more the urge grows. The shield of morality only serves to protect from others' judgment, not from her own desires. Sade said society creates saints, but the body invents sins. And that's where the challenge is for anyone who wants to stop being just a supporting actor. The funniest part? Sometimes even she believes her own mask. She keeps saying what she can't stand, but let a man cross the right line and the fantasy turns into throbbing desire. Ever notice how no sometimes is just an invitation for someone to go further? Sade knew that deep down, everyone loves a little well-placed disorder. And so the game continues. She tests. You read the signals. Desire is there, camouflaged in small provocations, waiting for the improbable. Notice how being too safe just doesn't excite anyone? Sade was a master at showing that deep down, every desire needs a touch of danger. No matter how much people talk about seeking stability, it's the shiver of the unknown that makes the blood pump faster. Butterflies don't come from candlelit dinners, but from the risk of crossing boundaries, even if it's just in a look. There's an ancient instinct inside you, brother, a wild part that isn't satisfied with just routine and predictability. When it comes to desire, comfort quickly becomes invisible. Sade said the human soul gets bored with the obvious. It wants surprises, wants to feel alive, wants a bit of danger to remember it's not just another NPC in the background. So don't underestimate the power of mystery and unpredictability. Routine might be safe, but it doesn't ignite the same fire as the uncertain. It's that tension, the light fear, the calculated risk, the hint of a challenge that makes any experience unforgettable. If you only bring roses, you might get a polite smile. If you bring the unexpected, you get the burning gaze. This is the point where many give up and run back to their comfort zone. The fear of failure, rejection, embarrassment. Sade laughed at that. Whoever doesn't take risks lives a lukewarm life. And you know no one remembers the lukewarm guy. Not in bed, not in life. The thrill isn't the villain. It's the sign that something big is happening. With each chapter, that sense of freedom grows. And with it, the certainty that living for real always starts when you stop asking for permission. You know that guy who never waits for anyone's approval, who makes his own path without apologizing? That's the type Sade pointed to as the true catalyst of desire. It's not about being rude or disrespectful, but about not living for validation, about being whole without needing anyone's stamp. The outlaw within, the man who doesn't bend, doesn't bow his head, doesn't play nice. It's funny how those who stand out, even without saying a word, attract looks. The secret isn't in trying too hard, but in the naturalness of someone who isn't afraid of being misunderstood. Sade saw this as the essence of desire. No one wants the submissive. Only the authentic earns respect. The attitude of someone who takes risks is an open invitation to desire, no matter if the world disapproves. The outlaw, deep down, fears losing nothing. Not approval, not likes, not pats on the back. This guy is hard to ignore because he doesn't play other people's games. He creates his own. The result? People, especially women, can sense when someone isn't there to please, but to truly live. You won't learn that in any How to Be Alpha tutorial. The funniest part is, the less you try to fit in, the more curiosity you stir. The world is full of people doing anything to be accepted. So it only takes one outlaw to shake things up. Sade laughed at those who lived tied to others' rules because he knew desire doesn't respect rule books. With each chapter, that sense of freedom grows, and with it, the certainty that living for real always starts when you stop asking for permission. The funniest thing about this whole game is the collective theater playing out every day. Sade, with his sharp gaze, saw how men and women parade their masks, performing virtue in public, while, backstage, desire breaks all the rules. Everyone follows the script not to be judged, but no one confesses what they really think or feel. This show of good manners might calm the audience, but it doesn't fool those who see further. Desire hides in the details, in almost imperceptible gestures, in the quick exchange of glances lasting less than a second. Sade would say, the more society pounds its chest defending morality, the more it's packed with secrets. And so, everyone pretends to be a soap opera character. She's the saint, he's the hero, both dying to tear up the script. The charm of the forbidden isn't just in the act, but in knowing everyone pretends it doesn't exist. Whoever joins this theater misses out on the most intense experiences, trading truth for applause from a fake audience. The problem is, at the end of the day, the mask gets heavy. The more time you spend pretending, the harder it is to remember your real face. Sade knew living to please others is a surefire way to never be truly desired. Desire is born when the mask falls, and only then does the story get interesting. In the middle of this stage, whoever dares to let their guard down, even for a moment, tastes freedom and realizes the real danger isn't in desire, but in living life, performing for an audience that doesn't even care. In Sade's world, the body isn't just flesh. It's a stage, a provocation, a territory where the true game of desire unfolds. It's not just about physical attraction, but that tension built by a daring gesture, an unexpected touch, a look that goes beyond what's socially permitted. Anyone who only touches but doesn't provoke is missing the best part. The forbidden starts in the details. A hand that lingers a second longer, laughter whispered in the ear, getting close without regard for conventions. Sade saw the body as a manifesto, a silent protest against rules made to keep everyone tamed. No one remembers the politically correct hug. What sticks in memory is the touch that blurs the line between safe and risky. This touch isn't violence nor invasion, but language. The body speaks, and when morality tries to silence it, it screams even louder. Real seduction lives in this subtle communication. It's not what's said, but how you get close, how you look, how you claim your space. In the dangerous game, physical boldness is an invitation to dance off script. That's when desire ignites, because every body wants to be seen as unique, to be touched by someone who sees beyond the surface. The ordinary is forgotten. The bold becomes memory. Sade's world is this: fewer rules, more skin. Fewer scripts, more improv. Whoever sees the body as an ally of desire understands half the secret. The right touch at the right moment doesn't need permission or justification. It just takes the courage to defy little rules and let the game truly begin. It's strange to admit, but pleasure almost always walks hand in hand with a touch of guilt. Sade used to say, "The more forbidden the desire, the more intense it gets." And the human mind loves that mix of excitement and danger. That's why secrets whispered in the dark, clandestine encounters, or unspoken urges always send more chills than any soap opera romance. Guilt, instead of holding you back, spices up the game. When pleasure is forbidden, every step becomes a challenge, every experience charged with adrenaline. Sade saw it as an invitation to transgression. It's not enough to seek satisfaction. You have to break the rules, even if the judge is your own conscience. Pure pleasure, without a hint of guilt, doesn't taste the same. This paradox is everywhere. Desire wants to be free, but morality demands limits. It's precisely in this conflict that the fire for the most secret impulses is born. Deep down, no one wants to just be a nice guy. A man wants to live something so intense, even guilt becomes fuel. The forbidden stops being a threat and becomes a spice. The problem isn't feeling guilt, but not knowing what to do with it. Sade thought running from your own desire is the greatest punishment. Living at war with yourself, denying what you feel, only makes the urge grow in the shadows. For him, pleasure is boldness with responsibility, learning to walk that dangerous border without losing your way. In the end, guilt doesn't erase desire. It just makes everything more exciting, blending fear and longing in almost irresistible doses. Not all control is lost by force. Sometimes it's handed over willingly. Sade noticed, female desire often means handing over the reins to someone who knows what they're doing. It's not about weakness or unfair play, but a silent agreement where freedom finds pleasure precisely in choosing to surrender. To outsiders, it might seem contradictory. To those who live it, it's just natural. Voluntary submission is full of nuances. It has nothing to do with humiliation, but everything to do with trust and surrender. The secret is in consent. She only lets herself be led because she believes whoever's leading knows how to care, provoke, and protect at the same time. Sade saw the paradox. Giving up control can be the freest and, at the same time, most exciting act of all. That's where complicity is born that's hard to explain to those who've never dared to play this game. Roles get mixed. The strength isn't in dominating, but in deserving her surrender. Desire grows because there's tension, and the tension exists because someone chose to trust. It's in this dance that risk becomes pleasure, and fear turns to longing. Funny how society judges everything that breaks the mold, but ignores how much desire lives precisely in forbidden consent. No one talks about this in public, but everyone has felt or fantasized about surrendering without a script. Sade saw submission as an art, not blind submission, but a conscious choice to give and receive pleasure. In the end, the game only works because no one's forced. Everyone's there because they want to be, because they feel, because they chose to drop the mask of control for a moment and live the most honest improv of all. In every dangerous game, there comes a time when pleasure leaves its mark. Sade saw this moment as the real transformation. An extreme experience is never just an adventure, but a turning point that changes who you are inside. Desire, when lived without restraint, leaves you knowing nothing will ever be the same. And maybe that's exactly what makes it so addictive. The body might forget the touch, but the mind never erases the thrill of going too far. Pleasure that breaks limits doesn't have a reset button. It expands boundaries, challenges certainties, and opens up a new appetite for the unknown. There's no easy way back to comfort. What was safe now feels lukewarm, almost dull. Sade liked to provoke. Those who taste excess carry the scars of their own desire, whether as a good memory or an addiction hard to break. The risk isn't just getting lost. It's never again fitting into your old life. Your mind fills with new ideas, routine takes on a new flavor, and the quest for intensity becomes a need. Funny how society fears exactly that. Transformation that escapes control. That's why so many people avoid going deep. Stick with the safe, choose the known. But whoever crosses the line never again settles for little. Sade would say pleasure, when lived to the fullest, has its price. And that price is letting go of the old self to be reborn. With each intense experience, a new version of yourself is built, leaving behind not just fear, but innocence too. And no one crosses that path without taking a bit of the danger they craved along with them. In Sade's world, absolute pleasure isn't a prize for just anyone. It's for the few who dare cross their own boundaries without looking back. You need courage to live off script, to break rules, and to lose yourself in the improbable. It's not about physical strength, but the bravery to face the unknown within your own desires. Most people prefer the comfort of lukewarm, but only those who really take risks feel the difference. Living intensely means challenging yourself, embracing risks, and accepting discomfort as part of the game. The brave don't seek applause or validation. They seek experiences that leave a mark. For Sade, pleasure isn't for those who stand still. It's for those who throw themselves in, even knowing they might not come back whole. The taste of the extreme is reserved for those who don't settle for crumbs. This courage doesn't come out of nowhere. It grows every time you choose the less obvious path, every time you face your own limits without disguise. The reward is feeling more alive, more real, closer to who you really are. Deep down, absolute pleasure only exists for those who aren't afraid to face their own shadows and dance with them until the party's over. The world will always prefer the predictable, but it's the unpredictable that makes history. Sade would tease, will you live to please those who don't even notice you? Or to feel your blood running stronger in your veins? There's no glory in what's easy, only in what takes courage, surrender, and authenticity. At the end of the game, there are only two kinds of people left: those who collected lukewarm memories, and those who came back with scars, always remembering that absolute pleasure is the privilege of the few who never back down from danger.